Ezras Hashem, today we're going to be learning בים דרכך, and we are still in the chapter on eating. So here we go, we are starting Perek Beis, and this is on page Lamed Bet 32. B'machshavas kedusha me'alla et achilaso v'hine. So holy thoughts uplift a person's eating. Haderech ha'ikaris likadesh et achilahi. The most precious, the main way to sanctify one's eating, al yidei ha'machshava, is by way of the thoughts, right? The thoughts leading up to the eating, the thoughts during the eating, the thoughts after the eating, but it's primarily through thought, is what Rabbi Itch Meir Morgenstern says. Ki b'koach ha'machshava yachol ha'adam la'alot et ha'gashmius l'ruchnius, because with the strength and the force of thought, a person is able to elevate the material aspect of eating to a spiritual aspect, a spiritual level. Ubakol machshava umachshava shel kedusha she'adam choshev be'achilaso hu me'ala et achilaso. And with every single holy thought that a person has while they were eating, they elevate and continue to elevate their eating. Ad she'yachol la'yeh l'madrega she'achilato tehefech lekorban k'mo shekatuv zeh hashulchan asher lifnei havaya, until a person's eating is quite literally like bringing a korban that we did in the times of the Beis Hamikdash and the Mishkan. It's like bringing a korban. When you have holy thoughts, when you elevate it, it's a korban. I think it's very interesting to point out here, just a small point, is that there are levels and levels to this, right? So there's kind of the complete lust for eating, getting lost in the eating, the tiredness feeling and the cravings. But then there's that's kind of a negative, but then you get to a neutral point where maybe you eat normally and you're on your phone or whatever while you're eating. And then you could see how there are levels to this. So maybe you just make a bracha and you slowed it down a little. Maybe you had one extra holy thought when you were eating. Oh, it tastes good. Thank you, Hashem, for letting it taste good. Something like that. So there are levels and levels and levels to this practice. But you can get to a point where your table is like an altar in the Mishkan or the Mizbeach, and your eating is a korban. V'kol minei machshavos shel kedusha mo'ilas lazeh. Ve'afilu imra choshev shemateret achilaso hi kedei she'yavo l'simcha. He says, even if a person just thinks that their eating, the purpose of my eating is so that I will be brought to a state of happiness, that's also a holy thought. Gam ze nachshov l'machshavas kedusha ukemuvan im choshev shu ochel kedei sheyeh lo koach la'avodas Hashem. So even more so, if a person thinks, I'm going to eat right now because I want to serve Hashem, I want to have strength so I can daven, so I can do a mitzvah, so I can be an attentive parent, so I can work in a holy way, that even having that thought of it attaches your eating to Hashem and elevates all of your eating. Ki berega shemekasher b'machshava so et ha'ochel Hashem yisbarach bazeh kvar kidesh et achilaso. And at the moment where a person ties their thinking to eating with Hashem Yisbarach, Hashem, right? They make it holy. They are nullifying the klipos, the negative forces that surround it. Because they want to separate the material aspect of the eating from Hashem, right? They want you to think it's just food, whatever, it tastes good, I can eat as much as I want, right? They want to get you stuck into this like material slog of eating. They want you to just think that the material aspect of eating, just the physical aspect, is in and of itself, that's what it is. And that's how I lived most of my life, to be honest. And I'm still fighting, but trying to make progress in eating through learning this. And at the moment where a person thinks that all of his eating is in order to serve Hashem, and he ties the physical aspect to Hashem, he's saying, I want to raise this up, I want to make it holy. He sanctifies all of his eating. And here's another wondrous intention a person can have when they're eating. Right? A person can think thoughts of gratitude to Hashem as they're eating. Thank you, Hashem, for the food. Right? It's great to say brachot, and it's even better, obviously, to say brachot with intention, but to really think about what the words say. And it's harder than it thinks, because the Yetzer Hara wants you to sleep while you do everything. The Yetzer Hara would rather you be a robot serving Hashem, doing the mitzvot, and not getting deeper. But we can all wake up. We can all think thoughts of gratitude when we are eating, even if it's just one thought. And even that one thought is hard to come by. And then even more so building a habit out of it. Dehainu, kasher hu margishet tanug ha'achila. Namely, when a person experiences the pleasurable taste of the eating, the enjoyment of eating, bein et atam, uvein et achius shovea veharvaya shemargish yachshov miyad, machsheves hodiah l'Hashem yisbarach. Right, so when you're eating, look out for those times where you think it tastes so good, or where you feel satiated at the end, right? That's a time where you can think to yourself, Hashem, thank you for the food. Thank you for letting it taste good. Thank you for giving me the food. Thank you for letting me be full. Thank you for not letting me be hungry. Right? And think to yourself, Hashem, thank you for giving me this wonderful food. And how good are you to me? Right? Hashem didn't have to create this world where food would taste good. It could have just been, tasteless, and that wouldn't be as enjoyable. By side note, eating on Shabbat is totally different. I hope to get into that at one point, but it's not for today. This is more so speaking about eating during the week. Again, you can always think, even on Shabbat, thoughts of gratitude while you're eating, but eating on Shabbat is a little bit different. One more paragraph. Ukechol shemargish yoter tanug bad bevad, ירגיש הודיה יותר גדולה, כי יש לו תענוג יותר גדול. ובזה האכילה מקשרת אותו בקשר אהבה עם השם יתברך, ומקדשת אותו באופן שלא ישוער. And so when you experience all this eating, right, and you have many of these thoughts, they all come together and create a greater sense of gratitude, right? The more you enjoy it, the more gratitude you can have. And you can really tie your eating to experience the love of Hashem and gratitude, which is totally possible, even at my own level, which is very low. Just trying to make an effort in sharing these videos and slowing down my eating and trying not to be on my phone when I'm eating, which is a much harder thing than it seems like. Those are all ways that a person can elevate their eating, and you will experience a difference. Right? So I will wrap it up there, but I'll just say a couple pieces of advice that I've seen just in my own experience with it, and I wrote it down on the side. So I think one of the key things is to try and not do anything else for at least one meal a day, even one meal out of every 3 days, just to start experiencing it, where you don't do anything else. You're not on your phone, you're not reading. Of course, if there are other people there, I'm not saying to ignore them, but let's say if you're eating on your own, to just not do anything and just experience the food. I'm telling you, it is a different experience. Piece of advice number 2, just slow it down, right? Just eat a little bit slower and see how that feels and see what that's like. And you will, again, change your eating and change your mindset. The last thing I would say are 2 more quick things. There's probably a much longer video here, but if you aren't saying the brachot, try and say the brachot. If you have been saying the brachot and you don't know what they mean, it's been very nice for me just to read the English translation of the brachot to make sure I understand all of the what the words mean. and to learn about them and to slow it down. You can even just start with one bracha like She'akol niyeh b'dvaro, and it's very deep, but it's also very, very pure and simple and straightforward. And the last thing I would say is do yourself a favor and go and buy at least one special item to eat on Shabbat, right? So when you buy it, say, this is lichvod Shabbat Kodesh, this is in honor of Shabbat, and don't eat it all week. And just think, I'm excited to eat it when Shabbat comes. It could be wine, something like that, something special. Do something special in regards to eating for Shabbat. So that is the end of the video for today. We started Perek Beis in Achila, and we got to Os Beis. See you next time.